Hello and welcome to CX Today. My name's David Dungay. We are here for another CX Trends session. I'm joined by Emily Bristow, Global Head of Professional Services at SS&C Blue Prism. Welcome to the show, Emily. How are you?
Great, thank you. Yeah, how are you?
I'm great, thanks. So today we're going to be talking about how to optimize your customer experience with automation. SS&C Blue Prism, you're fresh off a win at the CX Awards earlier on in the year. You took home the best RPA platform category, so congratulations for that. Before we get into the conversation, do you want to give our viewers a bit of an introduction to yourself and the business?
Yeah, thank you. So Emily Bristow, Head of Professional Services for SS&C Blue Prism. I was formerly a Blue Prism customer myself before I joined here. And SS&C Blue Prism, for those of you that don't know, we provide intelligent robotic process automation software globally, which enables our customers to deploy digital workers across their business so that they can scale faster, that they can drive efficiencies, and that they can release human workers to do more value-added work.
So, Emily, let's get into that first question around opportunities. Where do you see the most fruitful opportunities for the application of RPA when it comes to customer experience today?
Yeah, so there's a lot of opportunities across the whole spectrum, from the front office to the back office, and no matter what industry you're in. So whether that's retail or utilities, where there's a lot of conversations around customer experience, to industries like healthcare, the NHS, where patients are obviously their customers. There's lots of opportunities in the space. If you look at it from a perspective of direct interaction with customers, really good examples are around call centres. Where agents are directly interfacing with the customer. We've got products, for example, called Interact or Service Assist, where you can have an agent fill in just a single form. So they're on a call with the customer, they can fill in a single form. And in the back end of that, you've got digital workers basically running off, pulling information from multiple systems so that the information is all in one place for the agent, which we've got one example of a major telco where they reduced their call handling times from like 9 minutes to 2 minutes. And that's all because of digital workers doing their thing in the back end. So from a customer perspective, it's great for them. They're not having to sit on the phone for ages. And obviously great for the company as well. And then in terms of the back office, so it's more indirect areas, it's ripe for automation in terms of things like automation of process ordering. So a good example would be we've got a Nordics financial services company, and they've automated the whole of their bank card, the new card ordering process, which means that the customers are getting their cards quicker. There's fewer errors, and their CSAT results have just gone through the roof since they've deployed that. And then there's other examples where like banks using what they call robot researchers, where if they have a meeting with a customer that's coming into the office the next day, they can basically send off their robot workers to go and pull together all of the information for that customer so that when they're sitting in that room with them, there's a lot less wasted time while they're going into lots of different systems to pull the data together. And they've actually seen a massive increase in their upsells because they've gone into meetings way more organized. So they're really good examples, I think. And then we're also seeing a lot of automation in areas that are generally quite stressful for customers. So I mentioned at the start about NHS, and one of the processes that we've seen automated quite a lot recently is around patient referrals. So in the NHS in the UK, you have a GP would refer someone for hospital treatment. That's all done via automation, which means that there's fewer errors, that patients are getting referred faster, which is obviously for people that are not very well or worrying. That's a much better. Automation helps them get better faster, I guess, or get the treatment they need faster. And then in terms of things like in insurance claims, there's a lot of options for getting claims to be paid out faster because the back office processes are getting automated. Again, that's a very stressful thing. If you are someone that's unfortunately had to make a claim on insurance, it's not because something's gone well. So anything that speeds up that process is a good win. So they're kind of the three main areas at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, it's I think you're right. You're right. Anyone who's made an insurance claim, No, well, no. The quicker that happens, the better.
Exactly.
So, I mean, for companies that are identifying these opportunities, who may not have gone down this automation route yet, but are looking
Mm-hmm.
at it, what's the next step for these CX teams to really get started with RPA?
So there's probably three key areas or key steps that they need to take. So firstly, and probably the most important thing for any automation program, is to make sure that you've got like an exec sponsor, you've got that buy-in from the top, because where you don't have that, it's very, very difficult to do anything with automation, as it is with many things, right? But also, and something that's quite commonly missed, is making sure that IT are aware that this is something that you want to do, because one of the biggest blockers can be if you've not engaged with IT. Because the thing with robotic process automation is that the business can do it. The business can automate their own processes. It's user friendly in that sense. But sometimes that gets mistaken for IT don't need to be involved, and they absolutely do. So making sure that you've got the relevant stakeholders would be my number one. Number two would be making sure that you've got a real clear vision for what you are actually trying to achieve, and how much you do want to invest in it. Because once you know that, you can then look at what's the best solution for you. And by that, I mean, do you want to be running the automations yourself? Do you want to run them on your own platform? Do you want to run them on the cloud? Do you want to just outsource it completely to a partner or to a vendor to do a managed service for you? So once you've got that clear idea of what you want to achieve, then it makes it a lot easier then when you start having conversations with partners, with vendors, about moving forward. So that's the second one. So that third thing is all about focusing on driving cultural adoption of the digital workers as early as possible within your organisation. And the reason I say that is, as soon as people hear the word robots, fear is probably too strong a word, but it can definitely lead to some friction, and people go, I don't want you to automate my job. So you get that friction, and if you focus on the people right from the start, you're going to have a much easier process moving forward. So the clearer the vision, the better the strategy around bringing the people along with you, the better. And I said that the most successful implementations I've seen of automation have been when there's the stakeholders are in place, you've got that exec sponsor, you've got a clear vision, and you're focused on bringing the people along with you.
And of course, at some stage, these businesses will need to interact with an RPA partner. What should these businesses be looking for when it comes to that technology partner they ultimately choose?
Yeah. So, as I said at the top, I was a customer of Blue Prism myself, and back in 2018, and we'd chosen Blue Prism for a number of reasons, but it was all aligned with what we were trying to achieve. So I think it's probably useful to say what we looked at, and I think it's what everybody should look at when they're deciding who to work with. So the first thing was that we wanted to make sure that we had a tech partner who had the best technology, of course, and did the things that we wanted it to do. We wanted it to be user friendly, wanted it to be secure, and we wanted it to be scalable, because we wanted to go big with it, because there was a lot of things that we needed to automate internally. So we tried different platforms, and ultimately we decided on Blue Prism. And the scalability was a real key factor. And it was also very useful when we were looking to speak to other customers, to look at case studies from other customers that had done this, that were doing it at an enterprise scale. So being able to speak to references directly was very, very helpful. And I'd always encourage other organizations to do that. And then the second element to that was making sure that we were working with someone that we were able to have a good relationship, a collaborative relationship, somebody that was responsive, and that were looking to make us successful. Weren't just looking to sell us a load of services or whatever, but we're actually wanting to make us be successful with the product. So that was really, really important. And then finally, given the nature and the speed with which technology moves forward these days, I would be looking at the wider ecosystem from a technology perspective. So how easy is it to plug in this piece of software into complementary technologies, whether that's chatbots or natural language processing, all of the AI stuff that gets talked about now. How easy is it to plug those into your digital workforce so that you can accelerate what you're doing? So those are the three things that I think are most important.
You mentioned AI there, Emily. Of course, this year it seems to be the year of generative AI.
Yep.
I mean, what are your thoughts on how generative AI is going to impact the RPA space?
Yeah, I think it's going to be massive. A lot of people, when they think about generative AI, they think about written content or even AI art, which seems to be all over LinkedIn and Twitter at the moment. But the use cases for it relate absolutely to sort of day-to-day operations of office workers. So if you look at things like automated emails, we've already got customers that are doing that. They're using AI with digital workers to send out emails so they don't have to have people writing them all. And that's getting more and more personalizable. I'm not sure that's a word, but able to personalize emails a lot easier when you're combining AI with digital workers. And then for sort of more complex or high level emails, you can get to a point where the AI can draft sort of adequate personalized emails and then hand off to a human maybe to check them or tweak them. And I think we're going to start seeing that a lot more. I'm already seeing that happen quite a lot already. And I think that's only going to get more and more accurate as the months go on. Things with, I've mentioned contact center already earlier, but being able to have AI respond to customers for simple queries, maybe to do the entire conversation via advanced chatbots or via emails. But again, being able to loop in humans if they do need to check things, but to do a large chunk of those processes without humans having to touch them at all. So I think there's a lot that generative AI can do on that front. And then also around things like intelligent document processing solutions, so IDP, which basically uses optical character recognition, so OCR, which is something that's been around obviously for a long time, plus AI to make sure that it's extracting information that's locked away in documents that we might not have been able to get to before because the tech just wasn't smart enough. And I think that's particularly important in financial and healthcare services, where there is a lot of paperwork, a lot of documentation that needs to be read that isn't necessarily in a really structured format. I think that AI gives us a lot of opportunities on that front. So yeah, I think it probably sounds a bit mundane, but it's the stuff that happens a lot in organizations, and historically it's not been easy to automate those unstructured data and things, whereas now that's going to accelerate rapidly.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to watch how all of our working lives really change over the next sort of 10 years or so. I'm particularly excited about potentially not having to write as many emails. That sounds glorious to me. So
it does.
Emily, we're coming towards the end of the conversation today, but before we go, where can our viewers find out more about SS&C Blue Prism and your RPA solutions?
So just head to our website, blueprism.com, all one word, and all of our solutions, all of our products, all of our services, everything is on there. And of course, you can reach out to us via the website as well if you need more information.
Fantastic. Emily, thank you so much for joining me and sharing some of your insights.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for watching. You've been watching me, David Dungay, on CX Today. Don't forget you can follow the CX Trends series on social media with the CX Trends hashtag. That's it from me. See you next time.